Hey y'all.
Hi,
So
y'all.
we back with the after show. And
Yeah.
the tea that's brewing, the tea that's teaing, honey.
Yes.
Let's get into it. Okay.
Y'all. So today, y'all, we are going to talk about Murdaugh, the Murdaugh case. Now, some of us are Murdaugh'd out, and I get it. But like, y'all, we got to touch on the second part of the Murdaugh series that is on Netflix. So, if y'all ain't heard, there's a part 2 of that whole show. I guess it's a show, documentary, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they uploaded, I think, last week. And I have watched all 3 episodes. And when I tell you, my mouth was open the entire time.
Honey,
Because
on
it
the
does
floor.
not matter. It doesn't matter how far we get and just how much information comes out. It's always a jaw dropper. Like, So to begin, we're going to start here and then we're going to go into the episode. So recently it was announced that Murdaugh may get another trial, because there is a lady, the clerk of court, Becky Hill. Her name is Rebecca, I think. Becky Hill is being accused. His attorneys filed a complaint and she's being accused of jury tampering. Now that means they're accusing her of like mingling with the jurors. You're not supposed to do that. Kind of telling them how to vote, stuff like that. You can't do stuff like that. And it doesn't matter what you feel. I mean, I deeply feel like Murdaugh was guilty from the go, dating back to years of things. But he still deserved a fair trial. So they are accusing her of that. So the attorneys filed a complaint. If that complaint is true and they're able to provide evidence, I think they just basically said they have to provide evidence that the jury tampering happened during the case. They have to say it happened during the case, and that I believe the attorneys found out after the case was over, instead of like saying they found out while the case was going on and they just didn't say anything. Because if you knew some information like that, that should have been reported then, not waiting until everything is over, because it kind of looks like you just pulling stuff
out of thin air.
That's true. You're just pulling stuff, trying to do anything to get him this trial. So I think if they prove those 2 things, he may get another trial. Now, the crazy thing is, I'm just going forward. I hope they don't get to this point. But if he gets another trial and they find him not guilty for the murder, you best believe he's still going to do time for the financial crimes. He's not going to be let go on that. But I pray to God he's not let go on any of it. But I'm just saying, thinking ahead,
He admitted that.
He did everything, y'all. But y'all, the crazy thing about it, guess who opens up the documentary part 2? Becky Hill. And I was like, Becky, girl, is that you?
Yes, it was her. Happy as hell to talk about this. I was like,
she was playing too. She had on her Kato's outfit. I could tell it came from Kato's too. You know it came from Kato's.
Like, girl.
Right. But she was just as happy. But I picked up on something that they said was her personality. They, because I was listening to lawyer Lori. I love her on TikTok. She's a South Carolina lawyer. But basically they were saying that Becky is one of those people that love to talk about herself, and that she actually, I didn't know, but some jurors had went to the Today Show.
Yes.
And she went with them thinking she was going to get camera time because she's putting out a book. Well, she put out a book, and they said the book was trash.
Ain't nobody
they said all it did was talk about her. It didn't talk about anything else. But I noticed on that documentary, it was kind of like she was talking about herself. I said, okay, they were telling the truth about that.
Because you saw how she mentioned her daughter. Oh, my daughter was almost selected for a juror. There would be a conflict of interest in you, the clerk of court.
Right. No, and that shouldn't have happened. I'm glad that didn't happen, because look what we got now. So
exactly, girl. What?
Yeah, just insane. So, she opens up the documentary. They're talking about the whole case and stuff. And it's crazy because this part of the documentary is showing during the trial, from the beginning of the trial up until the end, where he is convicted and sentenced, everything, right? So, y'all, it was just like crazy to like look at it because we were looking at the trial, but we wasn't seeing what was going on in the background. Y'all, they get into like they interviewed 2 housekeepers. And when I tell you, it made me so emotional. One housekeeper was Randolph, Alex's mother and father's housekeeper caretaker. And then the other one was Alec and Maggie's caretaker. And Randolph and mom, their caretaker was the one, and I remember her. She was the one that blew the head off the case when they her testimony is really what changed the game, because she was the one that said Alec came to the house that night that Maggie and Paul got sick. I mean, not sick, got killed. And she said he looked like he was like pale. And I said, how more pale can he get? That man is already Casper White.
Like he about to turn into a ghost.
He that close. So how much more pale can he get? But anyway, she was like, he was kind of pale and he was just like looked a mess and he looked like fearful or whatever. So she said he only stayed maybe like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. He didn't stay long at all. But before he left, he told her, if anybody asks, tell them I was here like 40 minutes. And I remember she was just like perplexed. And when everything started unfolding, she, consulted with friends and family. And she said, I am not going to lie. Right. And I remember her testimony because that woman was shivering. Her voice was shivering. Yeah. But she gave her testimony, and her testimony alone is what really blew the lid off that case. Because, like, for her, you got a man telling you to tell the cops, if anybody asks or whoever asks, how long was he here, and you telling her to say 40 minutes. Yeah. What are you trying to hide?
But she was so brave to do that, because y'all got to understand the Murdaugh family is infamous for making people disappear.
Yeah. Disappear, making life hard on you. They were willing to drop a bag to, make your life hard, make you disappear and stuff. So for her to be that brave, kudos to her, and much love and respect to her, because most people would have folded and was like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Right. But thankful for her, and thankful for the other, I think her name was Blanca, who was Alec and Maggie's. And her detailed, her recollection of everything really made me sad, because Maggie seemed such a sweet person. Like, her and Blanca was like friends. She said that was my friend, and because she gave her testimony too, and basically said, that morning Alec looked out of it. He didn't look right. Right. And I don't know, but
I just want to say, y'all, the housekeepers in your help, this is for people who can afford help. This is for you rich people. They be seeing everything.
They do.
They hear everything. Yep. They know everything. Think about, what this put me back to. Now I was about to say Downton Abbey, but no, Bridgerton. Yes. The housekeepers all got together to spray that room and to run that man out of town because he was trying to force himself on that girl. Yep. Your help staff, y'all, people ain't slow leads. Like, no, I mean, that's not. I ain't trying to encourage nobody to murder, but I'm just saying, be mindful. People that are in your home all day, every day.
Yeah.
They
see you and they hear you. Like,
they know your normal routine, your normal behaviors. They know what makes you tick. They know when you're upset, when you're mad, when you off. And Alec was definitely off. Yeah.
That's what Blanca kept saying. And even the lady who I can't remember her name, and I'm so sorry I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up, but it didn't come up. Yeah.
But that's what they were saying. He was just off. Like, he was, and Blanca, she I remember she recollects that day because she was at the house that day. She said Paul was coming home. People at the law firm remember Alex saying he was leaving early because Paul was coming home. Maggie had went to the doctor, I believe. She had texted Alex during the doctor's appointment, saying she was waiting, but she was okay. She left and said she was getting ready to get a massage. She had texted Blanca and was like, can you get dinner ready because Paul's coming home? And I can't remember if she went to get a massage or her nails done, but she went to do something like that. And she came home. But Blanca had left before she came home. But Blanca recollects that Alec came. She said Alec was a very particular man. He liked his clothes a certain way. He liked them folded a certain way. And he came out of the room. She said he just looked off. And she said he was always neat. She said his collar was flipped and he was just like out of it. And she said she flipped his collar, fixed his collar. But she knew something was wrong. And she was like recollecting that day. She was like, that's what it was. But y'all, they broke down like the whole crime scene, and the crazy thing was the jurors were taken to the crime scene just to get a clear picture of everything. They said they were allowed one camera, one videographer or something like that, and the jury or whatever. And they basically like painted the crime scene for the jurors to see, how everything took place that night. So yeah, and another person that was crazy was the man who, basically they're saying Alec used to get him to do his dirty work. What's that man's name? I can't. What's that man's name?
The cousin.
The cousin. Yeah.
Was it cousin Eddie? Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie. But Eddie, well, and I was shocked to see him. He just rolled up at the end. I was like, wait a minute, you Eddie?
And I'm like ain't you they henchman?
Yeah. Yeah. But see, he gives his account of when Alec tried to commit, the S word. And he said, Alec had, because Alex said he got shot in the head. Kind of found out he wasn't shot in the head. It was just like a pebble that had popped him in the head because Alec was on the side of the road. Let me stop. It's not funny. Alec was on the side of the road. I think changed his tire, and I think Eddie rode by him and got really close, but he didn't shoot him. And it was just like a pebble on the road because it's Hampton, South Carolina, like it's like secluded, and and they have pebbles in the road and crap like that. And it flicked and hit Alec in the head. He never had a gunshot wound.
Popped him, and he had a little cut.
He had a little cut.
He got shot and like, bro.
Being shot in the head and a pebble is two totally different things, partner.
Girl, I was like, this man is diabolical.
Yes.
You're diabolical.
Yes.
A pebble.
Yes. But Eddie, and the messed up thing was, y'all, Eddie is basically, he trying to clear his name because he was like, Murdaugh asked him, and when I say Murdaugh, I mean Alec, had asked him to cash some checks. And it got to be a little too frequently. So Eddie asked him, like, what is this about? Like, is this some money laundering? Because it's not. If it is, this is where it stops today. He was like, no, don't worry about it or whatever. No. So basically Eddie had went to him, was like, I'm not going to do this no more. And he basically kind of threatened him. He was like, so your daughter, does she still go to... She still
work it, yeah.
MUSC or something like that.
Yeah.
And does she take that route or something like that? And I was like,
oh, he on that type of time.
Yeah. And he was like, so basically you'll continue to do
or otherwise something gonna happen to your child.
Yeah, right. But like they were showing some of the checks, y'all. It was like 25,000, 5,000, 2,500, like so much. I was like, that's a lot of money.
But he said he was like, he wasn't thinking. I mean, he, felt a little off about it, but he was like, it was his account on the checks. It was Alex's account. So how was he to know?
Yeah. But see, now Eddie's under investigation. Like, now he's going to court, and I can't remember how much they said, how much time he could get if he's found guilty.
A lot of time.
Yeah, but
just side note, don't cash checks for other people.
No. Mm-mm.
Especially of large sums and large amounts. Like I would have never started.
No.
Mm-mm. You go cash it yourself.
But I guess he did so much work for them. And I mean, because that's what he did. He did a lot of work for them, like cars, house work, and all.
Errand work,
Yeah. So I guess he felt like, until he got suspicious, because it was like big lump sums of money, you know.
Poor Eddie.
But listen, what tripped me out was Paul's ex-girlfriend, who's on there a lot giving her side. And she basically was like, Maggie told her a story. She was like, when Alex's mom, she had approached Randolph, which was Alex's father, about a divorce one time.
Mm-hmm.
And in response to what she said about the divorce, y'all, when I tell you, this part make me mad, it's
come on with it.
So in response to that, he goes on a computer and types up her obituary and gave it to her. Basically, she said it was awful. The obituary was awful. It was awful. But basically, he was just trying to scare her, like, this is your only way out of this.
And he put it in the paper.
He put it in the
local newspaper.
Yes. So Maggie was kind of giving the girl, Paul's ex-girlfriend, a forewarning, like, if you want to be in this family, because I think Paul and the girl was together for like 4 years at that point, and she basically, I guess they may have been talking about marriage or whatever. And she basically was giving that girl a forewarning, like, if you want to be married into this family, this is the type of stuff you're going to have to put up with. And I remember she said, because she was sitting at the table just casually talking to her, and she said they would do it all the time. She was very close with his mom. Yeah. And, that really, it really breaks my heart to hear his friends' testimonies and stuff like that. It really is a nightmare.
But at the same time, like, again, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but Paul had his own issues.
He did.
He was very abusive to the same girlfriend.
Yes.
And he is responsible for the death of her best friend, Mallory.
Yes. Yes.
He did not deserve to have his life taken. I'm not by any means saying that. I do not condone that.
Right.
However, this is what they're trying, the prosecutor was trying to put everyone in the mindset of, is that Paul had this case coming up where they were going to potentially face charges for this girl's death.
Yeah.
And Paul continued to party. He continued to be drunk out on the boat, on the lake. He continued to cause problems for his dad.
Yep.
So the prosecution is like, it's just easier. Like, he was nothing like Buster. Buster didn't cause issues besides him getting kicked out of school for plagiarism.
I mean, that we know of.
Yeah. Well, that he's been charged with, there was that one incident.
Yeah.
But he, like, Paul, it just seems like it was continuous with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, the prosecution is trying to paint the picture that it was just easier for Alec
to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, they shared this in a documentary, that they felt like he decided to, kill Maggie too, because I think she had found out that, he found out that she knew of his money schemes, and she had hired like a financial investigator,
mm-hmm.
And they had started looking into his finances, because I think he was getting like it was causing money issues. He was broke. He was going broke, and she was like, "Why is he broke?"
He wasn't paying the bills.
Keep in mind, the Murdaughs have a century-long lineage of attorneys.
Yes,
down there in South Carolina. century long, right? So she was like, basically got suspicious, hired a financial investigator, and they got to seeing someone right. And I think he knew, and I think she was gearing up to divorce him. And unfortunately, she did not. Unfortunately, she did not make it.
Yeah.
So.
So, and that kind of speaks to that conversation she had with Papa's girlfriend. You know, your only way out of a situation with a Murdaugh is if you marry him. Now, your only way out is in a casket. Unfortunately, I hate that for her because I feel like the situation that occurred with Papa and them trying to cover up that boating incident, trying to blame the other friend for driving and stuff like that, it kind of painted Maggie as a villain.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like she was the villain at all. I think it was more so she was with such a powerful man that she was forced to go along with whatever him and his daddy said goes, or otherwise she was going to be a dead woman. I think that's more so what it was. I don't think she was this villain, that people paint her out to be. She didn't have the pull or the say so. She wasn't the one pulling the strings. Who showed up at the hospital when all them kids went up there?
Randolph and Alec.
Not Maggie. You know what I mean? Those the ones pulling the strings. Those the ones with the power.
But I'm going to add something to that back about Maggie, what you said about Maggie. Maggie just looking at protecting her son, too.
Yeah.
Like, before people judge her, a lot, that's her son, that's her child.
Yeah.
And I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying facts, but that's her child. And you know what mothers do. It doesn't matter if you're a human, animal, like, even in the jungle, tigers, leopards, lions, they will do anything to protect their cubs. That's just the way it is. So I don't think she was wrong in that, but at the same time, they really ruined a lot of people's lives. Mallory's family, and then for the fact they tried to lie about it, trying to pin it on other kids and stuff like that. I will never. There is no excuse for that. No excuse.
No. But and then you immediately show up to the hospital. You're not even concerned about the children and their well-being. Your first thought is, I'm representation for all these kids.
Yeah.
I'm such and such's lawyer. We got to get our story straight. And I remember Papa's, and this was in season 1, I think, when Papa's girlfriend was like, the nurse, he was still, Alec was just standing outside her hospital room. And she told the nurse, do not let that man in here.
Yep.
Like,
said, don't let. I think they were like stitching her up and stuff because I don't understand. These kids were injured badly. Like, I'm sorry, her name was Morgan. I had to look.
Morgan,
Morgan.
I knew it was an M because they used to call them like the double M's or something. And I knew the deceased baby was Mallory.
Yeah.
I could not think of Morgan. Morgan is the Papa's ex-girlfriend. But yeah, she was being stitched up by the nurses.
Yeah.
Alec just hanging outside. It was like a window where her hospital room was. He just standing outside saying that he's her representation. And she's like, she told the nursing staff, do not let that man in here.
Yeah. Because no one had called him and said, I want you to represent my daughter and my son. No, no one said that. Nobody.
Who told you to do that?
Yeah. They were only showing up to make them scare these kids.
Yeah. And I think the one they were trying to pin it on, I feel like his name was Randy. He was terrified, y'all, because he said that he had heard for years that the Murdaughs kill people. So he was terrified that if he didn't go along with what they were trying to say that he was the one driving, that he would be the next one to die. I can't imagine, thinking of that. And they were teenagers. I can't imagine, like, I would be terrified as well. But I feel like this incident is what brought the community together to stand up against them. So in a way, Mallory's death meant something. Yeah. They were able to put an end to the power and influence this family has over this community. Because when I say people were scared, people scared of these people.
People are still scared because you got to understand, there are family members still alive. We only know the ones that are in the forefront due to this case. But Murdaugh has brothers, and that's another thing. I don't think I realized it because I was into the trial, but I wasn't able to watch it like every day. I did not know that Alex's brother had came to the crime scene to help him clean up.
Right.
And that was another issue because they were like, they have, that's paid for already.
Yeah.
Crime scene cleanup, that's clean. That's paid for already. And then the brother was like, I was just doing what I had to do to help my family. And I was like, okay.
But what was crazy? So it was paid for, but the family declined the service.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, he said he got clearance from law enforcement. But y'all, it was so many people had recused themselves because they were corrupt and working for this family. Yep. Law enforcement was in their back pocket.
Yep. Even Slade.
Like, what traumatized me and triggered me, and trigger warning, because it may trigger you as well. Pawpaw's brains was literally spread on the ground. He literally shot it was skull and brains, y'all. Literally on the ground where he shot his son close range. Blew the baby's brains out. Like, I can't, and how can you, this is your nephew. How can you go look at something like that?
Yeah, no. Because they're basically, they're able to do like a, and once they're doing the investigation, they do they send out like a forensic physicist or something like that. They were able to determine, like, when Paul was shot the first time, he was in the feeding room and he had enough strength to walk out. And I don't think whoever shot him, because they're trying to say Alec did not shoot him.
He did.
But exactly. But they're saying that when he walked out, that's when he was shot again, because it was like the killer was caught off guard, like, whoa, wait, I thought he
technically should have went down with the first one because it was a shotgun, y'all.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
And it was close range, so.
But this is another thing. So not only did the caretaker for his mom blow this case wide open, Alec blew this own case wide open. I'm going to tell you why.
He did.
He in the car with all these cops. They interviewed him several times.
Speak on it.
He says Maggie and Pawpaw went down to the kennels. That was not typical behavior for Maggie. Their housekeeper, Blanca, said, and Morgan, Pawpaw's ex-girlfriend, said Maggie was scared to go out at night. She never went down to the kennels. So that was strange.
And, like, I never met Maggie a day in my life, but based off pictures of her, she looked like a very, like, put together,
very well kept.
Like, well kept. She doesn't strike me as the type to walk down to the kennels.
Because I ain't going to no kennels.
Unless, and that was a thing for me too. And another, the infamous video where you can hear Alec in the background
talking. So that's okay. So he did several interviews with police in police cars saying that after dinner, so Blanca cooked dinner. So he's saying after dinner that Maggie and Pawpaw went down to the kennels and he went to check on his mom. It was around 9 something, I think he said. Okay. He said that he was not at the kennels.
Nope.
Just so happened, Pawpaw recorded a video. He was keeping one of his friend's dogs. This is what saved this case too. He was keeping one of his friend's dogs. His friend tried to call him. Pawpaw didn't answer, so Pawpaw sent him a video showing him the dog in the kennel. In the videos you send are timestamped. In the back, after 9 o'clock, when Alex said he was gone to his parents' house, you can hear Alec in the background asking about the family dog, which it was like, what was the family? It start with a B or something. But anyway, Blanca got the dog now.
Yeah,
but you can clearly hear him. So after that, in his mind, I would have never had put him on the stand, but he thought he was such an expert, such an attorney, because he's an attorney himself, that he gonna get on the stand himself. And clear his name.
Worst mistake he ever made.
Worst thing he could have did. Yep. Because you can't deny your own voice. Everybody hears. when they played that in the court went completely dead. Like even people on his side was like,
I thought you weren't there.
And I'm just, the whole time I'm looking at Buster.
Yeah.
Buster still believes his dad to this day. And I'm like, and you know what? I'm going to give him a little grace just for the simple fact that I wouldn't be able to believe something like that about my parents.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept something like that. But all this evidence, like if you were innocent people ain't got nothing to lie about.
Mm-mm. Because even if you were innocent, like, it's really hard to even think of an alternative story to what happened that night.
Yes.
Like, I can't, because there are a lot of speculations. They think that the cartel came and, for payment, and, he didn't pay up. So that was, I've heard that theory. Don't believe it.
No.
Because I don't know. I don't do drugs. I don't know. But I don't think with the type of drugs Alec was doing, those are legit pharmacy.
Why would the cartel be involved?
Right.
He was doing oxys, like.
Yeah, like, and I was like, I don't believe that,
The cartel deal with that white girl. You know what I mean? That's what it's called. That's the street name for it, but cocaine. That's what the cartel deal with. They ain't concerned about no oxys. Yeah. Like, okay, see, that's probably, so he's like, you have to admit what you can't deny. Like, those who are master manipulators, you have to admit what you can't deny. Yeah. But they still pull these strings and lie. So they tell partial truths. So he had to admit to his drug use. Because, that came out. Blanca witnessed that. She said she saw a baggie fell out. Like, they knew about it. It was just one of them things you just didn't talk about. So he had to admit it. The embezzlement, he had to admit it because the CFO of that company, they said she's very by the book. Yeah. She was on his ass.
Yeah. That's what they said. They said she didn't play. They said she was smart and she did not play. And she was coming at him like, what happened? Yeah. Like, why is this?
She said, like, she entered his office one day. He was like, what you want now? I want them records because you robbing the company blind.
I think over in total it was like $700 and something thousand, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot of money.
But my thing is, y'all a wealthy family. Y'all got old money. But again, drug habits are expensive. I don't know, but I'm just saying,
especially
from what I hear,
stuff like oxys, because
you can't. A doctor ain't prescribing you that because doctors, sometimes people that actually need oxys after surgery and stuff can't even get them because it's such an issue with people getting hooked to them.
Yep.
And I wonder if that's what happened. Like if he had an operation, then had to have oxy, and then just got
hooked on it.
It happens.
It does. Yeah, but
I've seen it happen to a couple people. But
it was.
I will say, me watching this, I feel like he's going to get a new trial because Becky ass.
Girl, Becky, Lord, how
Becky, you fumbled it. Like, she's so anxious and eager to talk about this. You literally tried to go on a talk show with the jurors. That is not a good look for you as the clerk of court.
Yes. And the thing is, though, that's just not your place. Like, why are you going up there? And then they said it was really to get people to buy her book just to get some attention. They said her book, all she did was talk about herself.
Nobody cared to hear about you. You ain't that important.
But she was just fangirling, and
you will not have your place in history.
You about to be locked up with him.
Because if they convict you of that, and some jurors come forward and say you was doing that.
But see, another theory is that the attorneys are lying, Murdaugh's lying, and that they're targeting her, and that they're going to pay some of the jurors to say. That is also,
she ain't making it no better for herself because she's ready to make all these appearances. Like, I'm sorry, but you need to sit down. You have a
job to do,
an elected position. You're elected by the people in that town.
Yeah.
You have an elected position. You can't be doing all this publicity and stuff like that because it's going to take away from the fidelity of the case. And now this man can get it, like, he's still going to jail, like we said, for the embezzlement. But still, like, he needs to go for the murders of his son and his wife, because who else was dying there?
Right. Nobody else was dying there. And then, y'all, so they say, I ain't looked up the mess because I don't want to see it, y'all. I really don't even want to see it. Y'all, you know Murdaugh got a OnlyFans.
I ain't going to that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that pasty chest.
Screenshots from that mess, child.
He ain't got no nipple.
He didn't have none. I said, what is nipple?
I was looking under the armpit. I said,
like, it was some very, like, what I want to say, it was some very, like,
he looked like a dead fish in them photos that was circulating on TikTok.
Very pale.
It was not sexy. I don't know what look he was trying to give.
But that just goes to what we're talking about. I don't know what it is with people being so infatuated with murderers. Like, I don't get that. That is so weird to me. Like, there's him, the guy from the who killed the 4 students. It's the Night Stalker guy. I forgot his name, but they have a Netflix special on him too. Like, women, like, throw themselves at these people, and I just don't get it.
Y'all crazy. Y'all need to throw yourselves in church. Throw yourself in the word. The word of Jesus.
That's the only way at this point.
Because guess what? If he did it to his wife, what you think he'll do to you?
Right. But I guess that's the turn on. But what was so strange, and here's another thing. This lady was on there, and they were talking about items, because they did auction off a lot of items in that house.
Oh my God, yes, I forgot about that.
By the mounds to purchase items out of their home. One lady bought a vacuum cleaner, and it still had the bag in it. And she was like, "Oh, it's just so eerie that it's still full, and it's dirt."
What you think in that spirits?
Like, she was like, "It's just so eerie that the bag is full and it's coming from the house." I said, "It's dirt. It's hair."
What do you think is that? What do you think they use the vacuum cleaner for?
Like, people are weird.
I mean, you excited because it's Murdaugh dirt? How is that different from the dirt at your house? You want to look at the dirt in my vacuum cleaner? I just vacuumed a day or two ago. Like, what?
Like, seriously, I was like, people need help.
Y'all are insane, and that is crazy. And they was being in very large amounts. Somebody bought like these turtle shell lamps that Maggie had in the house. They ugly as hell to me. But Morgan was like, "Oh, she had that house real nice, and she was great with interior decorating or whatever." That's some country stuff. I would never have a turtle shell lamp in my house, but people like what they like, you know.
Yeah. But I saw those lamps. They look like real. It was not no sculpted turtles. Those are
real turtles.
And I cannot
lamps made out of real turtles.
I cannot imagine how much she paid for those lamps.
Like, or did she make them herself? I don't know.
I don't think so.
But still, I don't want it. Like, why y'all want that? Do you have turtle decor already in your house?
Yeah. I mean, I guess because it's the low country, you know, I guess that's the vibe, like the ocean type vibe, I guess, because, I mean, but we never saw any of the house. I mean, I guess because it wasn't a part of the crime scene. Of course, they searched the house.
Moselle.
Yeah.
I love that name every time they say the house, Moselle.
It sounds really bougie.
It sounds real bougie. I want to go visit Moselle and just, you know.
I am not visiting Moselle. But I think someone has purchased that house.
Are you serious?
I think so.
No, I really didn't want to ride by it.
I don't. Because to ride by it, you got to ride by them kennels.
No, I don't care to ride by them kennels. I wonder can they bring me in from the top, from the other side.
It's like, it's a big piece of land. And the house is like I think how it was depicted, the house is like on one side and it's blocked by trees, but there's a pathway from the house to the kennels. And that's what they were saying, that Maggie and Paul took that pathway to the kennels. That's why they were out there, or whatever. But I was like, Maggie I'm like I said, I've never met her, but Maggie doesn't strike me as the type to want to be outside with the kennels.
To do what? Shovel dog poop?
But that's what leads me to believe, well, what got her out there?
He did something or said something to get her out there. I don't know what, because he won't admit to it.
Because my thing is, what I want to know is, did he go ahead and kill Paul? And then, because they do have proof that Maggie was running.
And Paul died before Maggie.
Right. And Paul died. I want to know, did he do something? Like, did he do something or say something to make her get up, come out there, and then he was just waiting for her and just, and what would be sad, for the fact, what would be so sad is I hope she didn't know. I hope she didn't know who killed her. You know what I mean? It could be one of them things, she didn't know who shot her. A bunch of that stuff that night is, we'll never know,
It's so sad though.
Yeah.
Regardless of what this family is accused of, nobody deserves that.
No, to be tracked down and just slaughtered like a dog, like a wild animal.
Assassinated, basically.
Yeah, because that is exactly what that was. An assassination.
The cartel ain't did that. They don't care nothing about you like that. No. I said, if Alex say that's his offense, he been watching too much TV like me.
And one part I'm glad they didn't show is Alec wiping his nose. That man wiped his nose, and it seemed like it still didn't clean it up. I said, I got so freaking tired. I said, Alec, if you don't wipe your nose, all them, all that snot and crud and ball and and buzz
and it was still fake. You can tell it was.
Yeah, it was very theatrical.
Because if I was there and saw my son's brains and him laying on the ground with my wife, that would have brought me to my knees.
They would have probably had to
carry me off to the mental asylum.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no way. These was fake crocodile tears.
Yeah.
You can tell.
It was very performative. And, he swerving out, he did not do it. And I was like, sir, the evidence is saying otherwise.
It really is. The facts speak for themselves. We know for a fact, you were not at your parents' house for 40 minutes. You're only there for 15 to 20. What we know for a fact, you claim you were not at the kennels. You definitely were, because there's a video timestamp that you were there. What we know for a fact, the assault weapons that were used, you own several of them. There was 2 different guns used on Maggie and on Paw, and that was done to try to, I guess, throw off police, then try to make them think it was 2 separate people. So what we know for a fact is that you have a drug problem. What we know for a fact, you embezzle money. What we know for a fact, your son Pawpaw had an upcoming case for the death of Mallory on that boat on the lake.
Yep. And there was just too many problems, wasn't it, Alec?
Oh, this ain't coincidental, y'all.
No.
Come on now.
No, not at all. And he's where he needs to be. But I'm with you. He's going to get another trial. Don't know if, what the results are going to be of this trial. We will stay tuned to see if Miss Becky, if they can collect the evidence to prove that she did what she did or she didn't. I believe they're working aggressively on that now. But like I mentioned, if they could prove 2 things, that the jury tampering while the case was going on, it happened while the case was going on, and proof that they found out about this after the trial.
Yep.
That's all they have to prove. So.
And what I can say, Miss Becky, girl,
you better lawyer up.
Now she did. She has come out and say, then denied it. But quite naturally you would, because she may think is innocent conversation could be very well you persuading their opinion.
It could, yeah. And with her being a motor mouth, it seemed like already, and with her loving to talk about herself, who knows? We finna see.
All they have to do is raise. You don't need beyond a doubt.
Yep.
All you have to do is raise reasonable doubt. So it don't matter if they have surveillance or anything just showing her saying something to a jury in passing. She could have been just saying good morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough to raise enough reasonable doubt for them to throw that conviction out.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how this unfolds. I hope it does not get tossed out just for sake of Maggie's family. However, like I said, he's still going down. So if he doesn't pay for it, and if he don't pay for it on this side, he definitely gonna pay for it on the other.
Yeah. I look at it that way too sometimes, like, but I know sometimes that's not comforting to people. They want to see them get what they deserve right now, and I do.
It depends on, and like I'm not sure how Maggie's family feels about all this. I'm pretty sure they want him to stay in there, but he's going down regardless. You're going to do time for embezzlement, but you need to. They need their justice, and you need to get sentenced for all. So I mean, it's gonna be life.
Because her parents are still living.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen or heard anything really from her parents.
Mm-hmm. That speaks volumes too.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's out of fear or just them being so grief stricken. Because I imagine this is a lot to deal with.
Yeah,
and y'all also, Alec was trying to pay people off. He tried to pay Shelly off. Shelly was the caregiver, for his mom.
Yeah.
He tries, trying to pay people off, but I'm like, how you gonna pay people off and you ain't even paying your bills, bro? Where the money coming from? You gonna embezzle some more money from the company you work for?
Yep. You gonna embezzle some more money.
Make it make sense. The math ain't mathing.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
So yeah, leave your thoughts on what you feel like is. Do you think Becky's guilty? I don't know. I don't know
if she's guilty, but she's shady. Like, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's trying to make a quick come up.
Mm-hmm. And she's going about it the wrong way. She's just trying to attach herself to this case and again, trying to come up off this case, by any means. And if that's the case and they can prove that she did do that, oh, she going down.
She trying to ride this wave, y'all. And like the Migos say, never let her ride your wave, yo. No, hell no. Never let her ride your wave.
That's another song I don't know.
I'm done with you.
That's another song I don't know.
I'll send that to you as well.
I'll listen to it. Oh man.
But she just trying to ride this wave, y'all, but in the worst way.
Yeah.
So leave your thoughts, comments, like, share, subscribe. Let us know if you like these after show segments, because we enjoy it. We still, we be on the tea, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do drama, but I dabble in other people's drama along,
I don't like drama. I like a little tea. And like I said,
a little tea.
Your tea is always safe with me. I don't talk.
Yeah. Unless it's something that's already been publicized, then it's okay.
Yeah. So
any last thoughts? All hearts and minds clear?
No, I'm good. I think I'm good.
All right, Sean. Thank you so much for tuning in again with us, and we'll be right back next week.
Bye.
Bye.